Why did Tesla stock close 8.88% lower today? Here's how Tesla stock looks to me now. As you can see, I can't even see the face of Tesla stock anymore. That's because I don't need to know it's a good deal right now. The hotness level of Tesla stock is just, ooh. I mean, you could say that we had some bad news, but let's see if we had any news that would actually make Tesla stock go down 8.88% in one single day. Tesla is discounting their vehicles further. In the US, you can now see that Tesla is offering $7,500 credit, basically a discount. But that is only if you take delivery before the end of the year. And we know starting from January 1st, you will be able to get a $7,500 credit from the government. So I don't see anything to worry about here at all, not even a little bit. This is obviously to offset that $7,500 credit from the government. However, this, you could say, is a lot more concerning. Take delivery of a new Model 3 between December 21st and 31st this year in Canada and get a $5,000 credit, basically a discount, Canadian dollars, so a little bit under 4,000 USD. In Canada, we do not have that $7,500 EV tax credit from the government coming into effect next year. So why would Tesla do this, you might ask? Well, think about it just for a moment. If you can sell that exact same car in Canada with just a less than 4,000 USD discount while you are discounting that same vehicle in the US for a lot more, why wouldn't you want to ship some of these cars and have a higher profit margin temporarily while we wait for the government EV credits to go into effect on January 1st? It makes sense. However, if you are worried about demand for Tesla vehicles, especially in Canada, let me show you something. I am a Canadian, so people miss it, probably because they don't live in Canada. These are all Canadian dollars. So in Canada, Model 3 does not get any government incentives, although Canada does have quite a few government incentives. The federal government can give you $5,000, as you can see right here, but there is a requirement, which for Tesla would be so easy to meet that requirement, which they did before, by the way. The car has to start at $55,000, but it can be as expensive as $65,000. This is for a passenger car. Model 3 in Canada right now starts at, you know how much? It starts at basically $60,000. Tesla could easily limit the range to 150 kilometers, so about 100 miles, and order that option over the phone to make it super difficult, and no one would want it anyway in the first place. They have done it before, by the way. No one would actually buy that car other than a few people. And then you can qualify for a $5,000 incentive immediately. And literally, you can still increase the price of this vehicle because the maximum price is $65,000. It's just that it has to start, the cheapest option has to start at $55,000. Another very obvious thing that I will point out, in Canada, as you know, we have snow. It's cold. We don't really like rear-wheel drive vehicles. We prefer all-wheel drive vehicles. It's a big deal. And we can't get it unless we get a performance version. Many people don't want a performance version. Many people just want an all-wheel drive vehicle. How come we can't get it? It's because Tesla has too much demand still, or they are retooling their factories. They are redesigning Model 3, and we're going to come back with a new model. These are the only really two reasonable explanations that I can think of. And we look back, and always when Elon Musk does something, there's a reason behind it. Sometimes we just find out much later. And by the way, in Canada, many provinces also have additional rebates. For example, British Columbia, which is where I live, has as much as a $4,000 rebate. So put that together with a federal incentive, and you have almost 10,000 Canadian dollars. Tesla definitely knows about these federal incentives and provincial incentives. There has to be a very good reason why Tesla is not taking advantage of these, because they did before. So knowing all of this information, I cannot see or think at all that there is a demand problem. The backlog is shrinking, but that is more because Tesla is choosing to shrink the backlog by not taking advantage of such easy EV rebates here in Canada, as an example. And there is the most popular model for Model 3, the all-wheel drive version of a Model 3. Where is it? I can't order it yet. It says available in 2023. There is a good reason for it. We will find out what that is eventually. So if you actually research Tesla, I don't see how you would think that there is a demand issue. You can raise a question, why is Tesla choosing to shrink the backlog so much? And why hasn't Tesla released the cheaper car yet? These questions we can and should raise, but I am sure Elon Musk has very good reasons for these decisions. I think one strong reason why Tesla stock is down so much today is because people are getting margin called. This means people borrowed money against Tesla stock to literally buy more Tesla stock. And then the price of a stock comes down. For example, if you borrowed against Tesla stock when Tesla was $300 per share and it has come down a lot, and your broker or whoever you borrowed money from is telling you, we can't keep giving you this money anymore. You have to pay us the money back. And you know how you're going to do that? Well, actually, you're not going to do anything. We're just going to sell your Tesla stock for you, and we're going to take the money just in case Tesla stock goes down any further. We don't want to risk any of our money. This is probably what is happening. That's my best guess. And I do make it very clear that if you are in margin, I respect how brave you are. But that's something that I would never, ever do under any circumstances. And we all know that Tesla stock is extremely volatile, and that's one big reason why I usually tell my family to not buy Tesla stock, because I know on a day like this one, I would be getting calls. Man, what is going on? What is happening to my money? And then I would have to tell them, have you sold Tesla stock? No. Then do you have a loss if you haven't sold Tesla stock? No. So are the earnings down? Are the earnings not going to be where we want them to be in the year of 2030? Is it 2030 already? No. Did we make this investment because we were hoping it would go up in the next 2 weeks or next year or next 2 years? Or did we make it with an intent to hold for at least 10 years? We made it to hold it for at least 10 years. I don't want to have this conversation every single time Tesla drops by 8%, almost 9% today. Even though in the end, I believe my family would make a lot of money in the long term, the net sum of all of the negativity and all of the pressure and the damaged relationships it would create in the meantime, I don't think it's worth all of that for a financial gain eventually many years from now. In an unlikely event that I tell my family to buy Tesla stock, which I did tell my brother to buy Tesla stock this year in May, and he did. And I told him, don't put any more money than whatever amount you are willing to lose. And he put in a not a large amount, but a sizable amount. And then in August, Elon Musk sold Tesla stock, and I made this video where I shared my story with you guys. I told my brother, sell now or years later. Well, he asked me, what are you doing, basically? I told him, I'm keeping my Tesla stock. I'm dollar cost averaging. I'm buying more. If it drops further, I hope actually it does drop further, because that will give me a buying opportunity as long as the fundamentals stay the same, which fundamentals for Tesla stock this year, I believe they have actually improved. You look at the earnings, you look at the deliveries, everything is looking better to me. Full self-driving, also, when I looked at it a year ago, I'm like, it's going to be hard to make this work. I don't know how fast it's coming. Eventually, I believe Tesla will solve it. But now, when I actually get in my car, I prefer to use full self-driving beta instead of not using it. Whereas a year ago, I hated using the autopilot in the city. It was so bad. So I can clearly see the progress. So I believe all of the fundamentals have actually improved. And these are 48 reasons why I only own Tesla stock in my stock portfolio. My name is Matt Posis. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.